Hey guys, so just wanted to touch base a little bit more around fats. I realized we sort of glanced over a few things, but really want to reiterate a few of the key points. There are three macronutrients, which are the main components of what sort of our body is made up of where we get our resources from for our body, and that's proteins, carbohydrates, and fats. They are a crucial part of our overall health. It gets such a negative rap because fats are seen as the bad. Often, all of the fun tasting, really yummy treats that we have are quite often high in fat, but that's also often quite a bit of a mindset change as well. I mean, of course, it gives that beautiful, like, nothing tastes better than something covered in butter, or that beautiful taste of really nice olive oil and a dressing in a salad. I mean, it has its components. It gives us that satiated feel, that beautiful like mouth feel, and that really full feeling as well because of its density. Like we discussed earlier, it's that protein and carbohydrates have that 4 calories per gram of each of them. Fats have 9 calories per gram of fat. So just wanted to reiterate, like, there are so many good things about fats. Again, it's all about, my mother used to tell me, too far east is always west. So it's all about moderation, portion control, realizing where it can get sneaky and get into our daily habits and our daily food. As an energy source, a lot of us are, CrossFit athletes or running. We are in that sort of short time domain comparatively. We're not doing these huge long distance, long-term efforts. So carbohydrates are our great source of fuel for us. As an energy source, fats are vital for us as well. They're a really concentrated source of energy, again, providing those 9 calories per gram. So more bang for your buck for sure. So a smaller serving gives you the same amount as a larger serving of carbohydrates. This really makes it an efficient fuel source for the body, especially during prolonged physical activity or periods of fasting, where sort of culturally sometimes this is really important. And before we go into that cultural aspect, I'll just go into some of how it's utilized for energy. Sorry, I'm using my hands a lot today. So fat storage. So fat storage, the body stores excess energy from food in the form of fat in adipose tissue. Sorry, I'll probably say a few things, and if you have any questions about what the terms are, please reach out and let me know. This stored fat in our body can be mobilized and utilized to convert energy when needed. If our carbohydrate resources are depleted, this fat resource is then mobilized to give us the energy that we need to function. Fat oxidation, so during exercise or periods of low carbohydrate availability, the body breaks down stored fats through a process called lipolysis. And that's when the fatty acids are released into the bloodstream and they're transported to the muscle cells where they're oxidized or burnt to produce ATP, which is how we get our energy. So ATP is adenosine triphosphate, and that is the currency through which our cells, the energy currency of our cells. So as our cells are breaking down, building, trying to give us energy, working throughout the body, ATP is that component that really fuels everything for us. So that's what those energy stores do. They'll be broken down, producing ATP, and then we have our energy from there. Sustained energy. So fats provide like that slow, steady release of energy, making them ideal for endurance activities. So think long hikes, think those sort of all day activities, And again, this is relative to what you do for your activities. So the contrast for carbohydrates is it's that quick energy, which can lead to like rapid fluctuations in blood sugar. So just to compare the two, so when you're talking about a pre-workout, we're talking about that quick source of energy through our carbohydrates. An example for me, and for say if I haven't eaten while I've slept through the night, I don't generally have a meal before I work out in the morning, but I will make sure that because I haven't eaten all night, I will have a moderate amount of fat in my quick snack before I go and work out in the morning, just because I know that those carbs are going to get used up, just to refill, keep me feeling full. And that's a personal preference as well. So with regards and thinking about what it's used as for energy, culturally, some diets are very high in fat, and that's because of what people in those cultures actually do. You're thinking people who live in the Arctic, people who live, in different circumstances, where their main source of energy, they're not a carbohydrate rich community culture, etc. Most of their energy is coming from what they have available. We're talking about animal fats, things like that. And again, it's just very different in that when you're talking about fasting, things like Ramadan, things like that. People change their diets to accommodate and make sure they are fueled. So that's another component that comes in there, regards to a sort of environmental and cultural aspect when we start talking about fats. And then there's such diets as like the keto diet and the carnivore diet that again are comparatively a lot higher in fats, but this is either people who have trained their body to work that way, and some people just function better, and that is a very personal thing. I have a moderate amount of fat in my diet. I've never gone a very low fat diet at all, because I find the cognitive aspect of it. I tend to get tired very quickly. I just don't function as well. And especially with my age, I'm looking at, maintaining that cell structure, maintaining those bodily functions, as well as my central nervous system, which is a huge component in the cells of the central nervous system. So I put sort of fats in there very much as a priority in my diet. Going on to other things, so nutrient absorption, we touched on this. There are some vitamins that are fat soluble. If we don't have fats in our diet, we will not be able to absorb these vitamins. We're talking A, D, E, and K. Those vitamins themselves are essential for some of our body functions, including vision, bone health, and our immune function, central nervous system. Cell membrane structure. Fats are integral in our structure of our cell membranes. They contribute to the integrity and the functionality of them, and they help maintain the fluidity and flexibility of the cell membranes. So that's crucial for us and our cellular function. Our cells are constantly moving within them. They have all these fluids that different chemical reactions take place in. So that flexibility and fluidity is very important for them. Hormone production, for men and women. We've all got hormones. Ours just tend to be a little bit more sporadic. So fats are involved in the production of hormones, including things like estrogen and testosterone. That's how you find sometimes, and this is a side note, an extremely lean person or someone who, and I've been there as well. I've got to the point in a weight loss journey where TMI completely lost my periods, and that's because my hormone levels were so out of whack, and I had lost so much because I was trying to be so lean. So fats are essential for that part of our general hormone health. Super important for us. And it takes a while once you try to start correcting those things to get them back to normal. Now, last thing I want to touch on, actually 2 more things I want to touch on. There are different types of fats in the body. So visceral fat, you might hear people describe as one of the components of fats in our body. Visceral fat is the fat that surrounds our internal organs as that sort of protection. But excess visceral fat is where it becomes detrimental. It's often referred to as the active fat because it can produce inflammatory substances that can negatively impact metabolism. And this is the sort of fat that will impact heart disease. So there's links to higher visceral fat or increasing visceral fat leading to higher cholesterol levels and blood pressure. And then higher visceral fat can impact insulin sensitivity as well, increasing your risk of type 2 diabetes. So maintaining that healthy lifestyle and regular exercise and a balanced diet is really crucial for managing that visceral fat. Last thing, and again, with regards to visceral fat and the next topic, these are things that you should talk to your primary care physician about, especially if you have a history or a family history of obesity, heart issues, cholesterol issues. All of these should be discussed with a medical professional, which I am not. I am a nutrition coach. I cannot provide healthcare advice, but if you are concerned or want to know what your levels are, there's lots of options out there. There are blood tests, all different types of scans. I used to go for a DEXA scan every few months when we lived in Australia. And so there are ways out there to find out what a baseline level is for you and what that healthy range is. But you really need to touch base with your healthcare professionals and your primary care professionals on that. Very important, especially, like I said, if you have a history of cardiac diabetes, obesity, anything like that. So please go and get that checked out if you are concerned at all. So cholesterol. And I didn't want to dive too much into it in our last video, but cholesterol is a type of fat found in your blood. It's carried around by things called lipoproteins. So as you guessed from the name, they're carried around by a protein, which include LDL, which is a low density lipoprotein, and HDL, which is a high density lipoprotein. So these are what carry around these type of fats in your body. So LDL is often referred to as the bad cholesterol and can lead to plaque buildup in the arteries. High levels of LDL can be associated with increased risk of heart disease and stroke. Okay, quick summary. Again, this is discussions you should be having with your primary care physicians. HDL, technically sort of known as the good cholesterol, that helps remove LDL from our bloodstream. Higher levels of HDL cholesterol can reduce the risk of heart disease by transporting LDL to the liver for excretion. The liver is our godsend. Thank you for that. So generally just wanted to touch base on those few things. Again, fats are an essential part of our diet. We need to understand them as a fuel source, with their role in nutrient absorption, the risks associated with excessive things like visceral fat, and the differences between LDL and HDL with regards to cholesterol. They can all help us make informed dietary options, or dietary choices, and rather than eliminating fats from our diet, we should really be incorporating the healthy fats for that overall health and well-being. So that's just a little bit about fats. If you do want to go deeper into it, more than happy to talk to anyone about it. But yeah, that's just my 2 cents on fats. As I sit here, I'm about to go have some peanut butter and rice cakes as my little snack. And yeah, talk to you guys soon. Bye.